Hi, I'm Jim Cassetta, local history librarian at the Pearl River Public Library, and welcome to Pearl River Public Library at Home. Today, for those of you who like local history, I'm going to tell you some information about the abandoned cemeteries in Pearl River that have very interesting histories. The oldest is in Norrishawn. It's on Sickletown Road, and it's called the Sickletown Cemetery. And there are quite a bit of graves in there, and those graves go all the way back to the late 1600s. Our actually one of two dead Civil War combat veterans are buried there. And he died in the Mud March at Fredericksburg in 1861. The second in Norrishawn is what they call the slave burial ground. Now, prior to 1827, slaves and then free blacks were working in the area or worked on the farms of the original Dutch and French Huguenot families. And they were buried in an area somewhere near the Norrishawn Swim Club. Now, whether it's in the woods leading into the swim club, or it was disturbed when the swim club was built, or some of the new development that has gone in, we don't know. Most of the graves were unmarked, and that is a problem. It's problematic, but they're there. The Bogert burial ground on Middletown Road, right in front of Zimmy's. I want to thank Eric Gorton, who kept his promise to put a brand new chain link fence. It looks wonderful, and there is a wooden bumper on the parking lot side, so it's nice and thick, so the snow plows won't knock it over. And in there, the first burial was in 1805, because where Zimmy's is, or a little behind it, there was a Baptist church. And as the graveyard in front of the church filled and the congregation got larger, they started to bury on Henry Street, well, actually off Henry Street, it's Old Middletown Road, just before the bend, where the Medical Arts Building is. That was the Second Baptist Church, and they started to fill that area up also with bodies of their congregants. Now, this went on until probably the about 1850, where the Pearl River Cemetery, where that is today, Baptists were being buried there. The entrance was off Old Middletown Road in a long dirt lane that went down, which today is Prospect Avenue. So if you live on Prospect Avenue, you are originally it was Cemetery Lane. Now, off South William Street, there was another entrance to the cemetery between two large oaks, which still stand, and the path is right off South William Street. Matter of fact, children walk today to the Franklin Avenue Elementary School. The last abandoned cemetery is another slave burial ground. This was in the area of Linda Lane, and there were slaves buried there, and again after 1827 in New York State they became free individuals, and they were buried there, but unfortunately they had some headstones, some were marked, but it was lost to construction. I'm forgetting one other important burial ground. On the hilltop at Ann Street was the Conklin-Gesner burial ground. There were 9 bodies in there. They were interred from the early 1700s onward up until 1902. It was at this time that area was starting to be developed with homes, and all of the graves were either dug up and reinterred somewhere where there seems to be no record, or they were just plowed under, and they're under the homes that are there today. So if your house is in that area, keep a lookout at night. Maybe maybe some people are wandering around. But as of 1996, New York State requires the municipality to take care of the upkeep of these cemeteries, which is what's happening with the Bogert Burial Ground in front of Zimmy's Bagels. So it's an interesting history about cemeteries and burials, and folks who were too poor didn't have markers, others had markers. Markers, the information on them tend to break down over time, you know, they're worn away. So it's important that we know where these burial grounds are. The Sickletown Burial Ground is probably the best preserved out of any of the old burial grounds, because the folks like Sickles and Van Houten's lived in the area up until the 20th century. Ryan Slattery, at his request and my suggestion, took care of the graves in the Bogert Burial Ground, and it's a great cemetery today. Gone are the broken cemetery headstones and knocked over. Gone is the garbage and the potato chip wrap bags and bottles. So it's nice that people are coming to the history of the town and realizing the importance of preserving these graves. Well, thank you very much. Keep social distancing.